I'm very lucky. My husband is very supportive, and I have a lovely little dog currently too, because we're dog sitting, and it's quite fun because they're not best of friends, but they begrudgingly deal with each other.
Cute. I love
But
it.
I think for me, the real thing that works well for us is he's very, very, he's very grounded, and he's very good at keeping me in check in terms of like, the world's not going to end, things are going to be fine. But we also we're both very silly. So the kind of like the stuff we do every day is we play Yahtzee every morning to see who makes the
Oh,
morning drinks.
cool.
We also play, Yahtzee or another game slightly later in the day, and then the other person might get like a back rub or just some like silly little things that cost nothing, but just adds a little bit of fun to the day.
Yeah.
Because I think the thing that we found, and I notice it if I ever had to travel quite a bit for work, is again, you get stuck in that go, go, go mentality, and you kind of just lose connection with your partner. And then that becomes a really uncomfortable environment. So we're very big on really making sure that the time we spend together is quality. And I think that's what really keeps my well-being. And I think even if I'm ever not feeling, great about stuff, Ben's very perceptive. So he will tell me, or he will ask, is everything okay? But also he's very good at, and because I'm very empathic, is things kind of aren't so great today. Nothing's really happened. They're just kind of a little bit out. And he'll be like, okay, do you want to talk about it or just want to hug? And I'm like, hug will do. And so it's really for me, it's having your cheerleader and having somebody that's right next to you to just be that point of support. And he's also very brutally honest as well, which I appreciate, because I think, again, I come from a world where there's lots of yes people. And I think going into an environment where it's like, if I get this wrong, people aren't going to want to work with me. I want to make sure I'm getting this right. And he's very, very good at being like, have you considered doing it this way? Maybe that could be a little bit better. But then also, hey, this is really good. So it's the whole picture.
I love it so much. I just, I follow a lot of women in business people on the internet, mostly Instagram. And it's really funny. There's this trend going around right now. It's like a viral reel trend that's like basically bagging men. Like it's this like
Yeah.
male dominated fields. And I've just got super mixed feelings about it. Actually, my feelings are not mixed at all. I fucking hate it. I just feel
Love
like so
that.
so I have a very supportive husband as well. And and we live in the middle of nowhere. So I do rely on him quite heavily, for my mental health and connection and all of that as well. And, he has supported me through, obviously this business, previous
Mm.
business, previous breakdown of founder and partner relationships, like stuff that a new boyfriend, husband should never have to
Yeah,
deal
yeah,
with.
yeah.
And I just think, we spend publicly so much time kind of bagging out men, but
Oh, yeah.
we really there's a lot of us who are quite fortunate to have the support of a partner or a husband or a male colleague or a male friend. And I think we do really need to thank them and invest time in
And
them.
oh, absolutely. And I think something else that, because I see a lot of those, I'm a very proud feminist. I'm all about equality
Okay.
and,
Yep.
having, equal opportunities. For me, it's all about equal opportunities for people to feel that they can go for anything. I think the other part of that is also just the way that, men and women tend to think differently. And so I think
Mm.
sometimes that piece around people going like, oh, men have done da 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 da. It's actually, well, they're just thinking about your problem in a very different kind of way, or they're not getting it, but you're just getting angry as opposed to taking the time back and seeing, what is the way that's going to communicate to them that they really get it. And you know what? I've
Yeah.
also found in instances where I'm very fortunate. I think I've only ever had a couple of times over the years where I have genuinely kind of rolled my eyes. I think one of them was a snide comment because I've got a PhD, so I'm a doctor, and a guy checked my ID and gave me a squint and was like, "You're Dr. Goffin?" And I'm, yes. And then another instance when test driving a car, and I love my Stinger, and my baby, and the guy was like, "Oh, well, be careful because these cars do go very, very fast, and there's a speed limit zone around here." But that's really been it
Oh,
from a
yeah.
sexist perspective, all of the other guys I've ever dealt with in my work life have all been, nice or supportive. And if there's been a problem, I'm like, hey, that wasn't cool, or I didn't feel good about that, and this is why. Most of the time, they're really receptive. So I think it is very easy to bag on men or to blame them. But I think in a lot of cases, it comes back down to what we were talking about earlier, communication. And, if you're doing that and they're still not getting it, maybe they are kind of douchey. But I think overall, most guys aren't.
Totally. And I kind of feel like if that's kind of what you're coming up against, like find better men, you know?
Yeah.
And I know people will kill me for saying that because it's a mass generalization. But I think, we really do have to put our destiny in our own hands. And if we are coming up against roadblocks, we go, that's not for me. I'm not interested in engaging in that. I
Mm.
find people who are my cheerleaders and are my supporters.
And I think something else that I'm very, very mindful of, which is why I really try and keep in mind my mental health and well-being, is you become a reflection. So if you're attracting bad energy, and I know it sounds a bit wooey, but if you're around people and they're not positive people for you, you also kind of have to take a step back and think, well, why are these the people that are coming to me? Is it because I don't feel great about myself, so I feel like I should accept lower standards? What's going on there? So I think, again, there's really this element around meeting people at the standard and bringing forward that energy of, I got this, I can do this, I'm a positive, good person, because you'll attract those. You'll get haters, we all get haters, but overall, they will disappear under the noise of your cheerleaders.
Oh my God, absolutely. And look, I'm all about the woo woo. So love the balance of the work and the woo. I love
Yeah.
that